This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to February's Tips and Tricks video. I'm going to be recording videos every month and sending them out to everybody based on things that I see consistently or questions that I get consistently, and also some issues that I notice recurring, just so that you guys can be able to troubleshoot some of the problems that come up a little easier and really just kind of learn a little bit more about Rent Manager or about the systems we use at Pan American. Going forward, please feel free to send in suggestions for video topics. I'd love to hear your feedback, and we can even work on some stuff together. So please feel free to reach out to me and let me know something that you would want to see coming up. So today we are going to be talking about the Rent Manager dashboard. So I'm going to get the screen going, and then we will be able to discuss the dashboard and what all the capabilities and functionality that you can utilize in Rent Manager using your dashboard. So the dashboard is sort of a snapshot of your property, and you can customize it and move tiles around and use different tiles to tell you different things without having to go digging through them in your Rent Manager system. So when you log into Rent Manager, your Rent Manager screen should look something like this. Maybe not all the data will be the same, but the tiles should be similar to this. If you don't have your tiles set up like this, that's the first troubleshooting thing we're going to go over. So we actually created a custom manager dashboard that gets assigned to every new user. But some of you, maybe it was created after you started, or maybe you've switched your dashboard, or for whatever reason, it's just not showing up like this. So there may be another drop down here that says dashboard options. That's one way that you can switch what kind of dashboard you want. But if you don't have that, like I don't, the best way to get to a different dashboard is to go to this gray background area here, wherever you can find it if your dashboard looks different, and click My Dashboards. My Dashboards is going to take you to whatever dashboards you have. It should give you the Manager Dashboard option, and you can double click on that and it will revert you to, well, excuse me, you can click on that and it will revert you back to your main dashboard on the My Dashboard option. Make default is what you would want to click down here, and then it will show you this screen. So once you have this screen up, this is, like I said, the default screen for the managers that we give everybody, but the screen is totally customizable and you can edit it for whatever your needs are, and however your workflow is best. So if you see this, we're already on a good start. But now I'm going to show you how to customize it. So the way that you customize it is, again, go into this gray field here, and you're going to want to go to Dashboard Designer. Right click and you'll get Dashboard Designer. Dashboard Designer is really cool. It allows you to customize and move these tiles all around. So I'm going to delete the appointments tile. I don't particularly like that. I don't use it ever. I'm going to delete the notes tile. But I'm going to move the security refunds due tile to front and center right there because I want to be able to see that. I also want to see all these other things: move in, move out, vacancy list, completed documents. This is for your online applications. This is for your online leases and other documents. And then there's all these other tiles that you can put in your dashboard as well. So go ahead and play around and see what works best for you. You might want to see delinquency trend. This one's a really cool one. It shows you, you can put a different time, and I'll show you how to set the times and everything like that. And you can see a bar graph, or excuse me, a line graph that shows what your delinquency trend has been over the last year, or however long the time you set it for. You can do average days to collection, which this shows how long it usually takes to collect rent. Again, it's a nice bar graph. You can change the sizes of these. You can change the color bar ribbon. Let's say you want your application ribbon to actually be red, so you see them right away. You can definitely do that. There's a lot of different customizable features that you can do in here, and you really just want to make it what works best for you. So I do advise you to kind of play around with it, see what's best. I think that the list we have here is a pretty solid list that gives you some good information. But again, feel free to look in here. You can definitely put other items. So you're going to want to save your dashboard. Now, I always advise you to customize the name of the dashboard. So I'm going to put Megan's dashboard. You're going to want to save it. That way it just doesn't get confusing and you're able to find it easily. So Megan's dashboard, it looks like this. So then we're going to save it and then we're going to go back to dashboard. And now it looks like this. So you have, again, you have these super cool bar graphs, line graphs, things like that. So once you have your tiles set up the way you want, you've gotten the tiles you like the sizes and the arrangement of the tiles, things like that, you can now use, well, actually, before I go on to that, let's say you change your mind and you hate the way that this looks and you don't want to have this tile. You can quickly go back to the old dashboard that you originally had, revert to assigned dashboard. This will switch you back to, are you sure you want to revert? Yes. This will switch you back to the original dashboard that we gave you earlier. So you can always get back to that screen no matter what, so don't worry about deleting stuff because you can get back there. So once you've decided that you want to maybe keep this dashboard or use your custom dashboard, whatever you want to do, now you can actually play around with the filters so you can change your view of things. So you are going to want to adjust the filters. Now the first place to adjust the filters is up here in this blue ribbon. So you can see it says property filter, and this one says all properties. Now most of you are just going to have access to one property, but if you happen to have access to multiple properties, you can switch to whatever property you want to look at right here. Let's say I only want to see stats for Modera. This is going to show me only Modera here. Let's say you wanted to see stats for Modera and Eastwood. I can click select multiple properties. I can choose Eastwood and Modera. And that gives me all the information on both properties here. You see there's two different ones. There's also groups here. All these little ones with these little brackets give you different groups. You may not have the whole group, but you may not have all of these groups. It's just if some of your properties or one of your properties fits into any of these groups, you'll get options to look at the groups. You can choose specific properties, things like that. So that will give you the option of looking at different properties, multiple properties, or just one, depending on what you're trying to look at. And it'll show you what you're looking at here. So you can always go back to all properties, or maybe you just have one you want to look at, whatever you need to see. So you will notice that I skipped over this one right here that says use tile settings. So use tile settings actually allows you to, so this isn't all over the property filter, it customizes all the tiles here so that it'll fit to whatever it is that you're trying to look at. Now let's say you wanted to get really specific and you wanted to see all your delinquency for all your properties, but you only want to see applications for one of your properties. So the way that you would go in and do that is you would change the tile data filters here with the settings button. They all have them and they're all a little bit different. So you go in here, change the data, and you can click how many days you want to include. Let's say you want to see applications going back from 90 days, so the last 3 months applications that have been filled in. Property filter, you're going to want to say, oh, I only want to see at keys, or whatever you're going to pick. Exclude completed, you can do that or not. You can include all of the statuses, or you can say, oh no, I just want to see the tenants. And you can say ignore dashboard property filter. This one's the most important one. If you want it to just show this, you can either use the tile settings or you can click ignore dashboard property filter. And that way you can switch this around and have this be the only custom one, or you can customize all of them and use the tile setting. So it's really up to you. It kind of does the same thing. Let's say I ignore the filter. So it's going to show me only keys. And let's say I switch to all properties. It's still going to show me only keys, but all these other ones are showing all properties. So it's kind of just the level of customization you want. If you only want to customize one tile, then you can ignore the filter. And if you want to customize, each one, then you can just say use tile settings. So again, let's say you're doing leasing, so you only need to see the delinquency at your property. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say, I want to see delinquency for the past 30 days. I only want to see the delinquency at my property, which is Temecula, Maine, let's say. Do you want to include past, current, or future? I don't really need to see the past tenants because they have separate payment plans, let's say. You can sort the columns differently. And I want to ignore the property filter because I want this specific tile to be unique to all the other tiles. I only want to see delinquency at my property. So save, there we go. Now I'm going to click here. I want to see all properties because I'm a leasing agent, so I don't want to ignore the dashboard filter. I want to see all the properties that have leases in. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to refresh the screen. So everything is showing all properties except for my delinquency delinquency list because I clicked the setting, ignore the property filter, and it shows up there. Anyhow, you can play around with this. There's a lot of different options. Again, I don't use notes or appointments. I don't know if you guys do. You're welcome to. But they each give you different levels of customization. So first you can customize what you see, then you can customize how you see it, and then you can customize each individual tile. So there is a ton of stuff on here that I highly recommend you look at, especially this delinquency trend. This one's really cool. And play around with the dates, especially because they will show you different things. So, for example, here we have the delinquency trend. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go back to the dashboard. This one is definitely one you'd want to customize because this is as of the 1st of this month, but you can change it to the last 3 months. You can change it to the last 4 months. You can change it to the last year, anything like that. So you can see the delinquency trend in your building from the last year. This is all properties. So this is everything. You can do, property by property. Oh, I don't want to do that one. Let's see. Let's do 1415 Cedar. Let's see what we've got. So the last 3 years, it'll show you the delinquency trends. And it will show you all of this information. It also shows you collection trends. There's other tiles that you may want to see that. So anyhow, I recommend you guys all play around with what you need. These are interesting to look at, but I really do think the ones that you definitely should look at the most are going to be the online applications, the completed docs, delinquency list, move in and move out list, vacancy, and the security deposit. And then purchase orders are helpful too. I don't think you necessarily need the notes and appointments, but you're welcome to use them if you want. I believe you can exit out of some of these. Yeah, you can remove them without having to go to the dashboard designer. But I hope this gives you a little bit more insight on how to use the dashboard. Like I said, it's a great tool to give you just a little snapshot of your property, especially this move in, move out, and vacancy and the online applications, because you can see, what action is happening. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you turn on your computer to start your day, and you look and see what's going on. This gives you a lot more insight into the specific happenings. A lot of people don't complete their applications till they're home from work at night. You go in, you look at it, and you see who's completed the application, and then you're ready to go. So my advice is to test out, the settings that you want. Maybe you want to keep it like this. Save your dashboard and try using it out to see if it saves you some time without having to go digging through other items. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to next month as well. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.